Sandals are the white ones. So like top 120. Yep, it looks good. All right. So what is the percent change for the number of shoes sold between June and July? All right. So we need to know how many are in June and how many are in July. Can you give me those numbers? What's the total in June? What's the total in July?
I would say for June 150, for July 120.
All right. So the percent change formula, it's kind of it probably looks more complicated than it should be, but it's the absolute value of the new minus the old
Mhm.
over the old.
Yeah.
So 120 minus 150 over the old, which is 150. So the reason it's an absolute value is because percent change is always positive, but then you add the word increase or decrease. So since it went down, we know that it's going to be a decrease. And you have to say
Mhm.
that. You would say a decrease of, and then give the percent. So you've got to go to a calculator, take 120 and subtract 150, take the absolute value of that, and then divide by 150. Is that clear?
Mhm. 30. Uh, okay, negative 30 divided by 150, negative 0.2.
It's the absolute value, Josh, the absolute value.
Oh,
Like I said, it's the percent change, it's absolute value because it's always a positive number. But if it goes down, like it does here, you say decrease.
mhm.
Decrease. Because in our language, we don't say decrease of a negative number. We just say we account for the negative number by the word decrease.
Mhm.
That's why this absolute value is here, so that the top is always positive.
Okay. Trying to, I guess I don't really understand. Like I know how to do like the formula, but I sort of forgot and it's confusing to me a bit. Uh, that's why I was not able to answer the question.
All right. Do you have a number for me, please?
For 120 minus 150 is negative 30. And then negative 30 divided by 150 times 100. Let me put that. Times 100. Let's see. I'm confused on what to do. So I have negative 30 over 150 times
Right.
100.
But okay. So here's a couple things, Josh. First is you're not doing the absolute value. Okay. What is the absolute value?
I don't think I remember.
You've never seen or heard of absolute value before.
I don't really remember it because I have
Okay.
here in my book percentage of
Okay. So
change.
I'll give you an example. The absolute value of 7 is 7. The absolute value of -8 is 8. What do
Okay.
you notice about these numbers?
Is uh we get rid of the negative?
Yes. Yes. Now, so the second thing is that nowhere am I telling you to multiply by 100 yet. Now you can do that, but I just wanted you to do this part first, because the more things I throw at you, the harder it becomes to process. So again, 120 minus 150, it is negative 30. Then the absolute value, what does that become?
It would be plus
Okay, plus 30 divided by,
150.
yes, can you give me that number?
0.2.
0.2. And you are correct. You then do multiply by 100 because percentages are not decimals. Well, I mean, they can be, but that in this case, not. So that is 20%. Because it goes down, you have to say the word decrease, decrease of 20%. If you just say 20%, we're not specifying the direction, and that's very important, because what if someone looks at it and they don't know whether it went up or down?
Okay. Increase. Okay.
All right. So the next one I see here is for question 17. Is that right for you?
Mhm.
All right. I've got to, unfortunately, I got to, let's see if we can just rotate. Yeah, there we go. All right. I'm going to snip this in. All right. It says when variable one is 46. Here's 45. So where is 46?
Um,
Is it to the left, right, up, down? Where is it?
the left to, I would say up. Left.
Okay. Each one of these boxes is one though. So that's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Where is 46 to relative 45? It's not left.
It's to the next
The
next
next one.
the
So
next one, yeah.
so you go up until you hit that point. You see that point right there that I've intersected with? And then you go straight left. And where is that roughly?
That is
Like
about
what's the Y value there roughly?
35.
It's 35. All right. So the next one, we have to remember what what is the association between the variables? And you're right. You are correct here. So positive goes up, negative goes down, and no association is horizontal. You have that correct.
All right. Next page. Okay.
All right. Now, number 20, I don't have a very good picture,
Oh,
meaning that I can't really see it, partly because of way I'm viewing. Let me try it differently. I'm going to download real quick. All right. All right. Yeah, I guess we can do this now. Okay, I'm going to snip this in.
sorry. I try to take pictures, but I
That's okay. This is good enough. I it was a little close to the
and
edge, but I was able to do it here. Okay.
our word is round to the near number. So
Yes. So they're giving you an equation. This is important. They're saying y equals minus 2.61x plus 152.51, and they're giving you the y value. They're saying y is minus 108.5. Okay. And so when you put this value in for y, there's only one variable in the equation, just one variable, which means you can solve for it without issue.
Mhm.
We just have to solve for x. So this is something you learned earlier in the course. You look at the side with the variables, okay? You don't care about the left side, you care about the right side. How do you, or what do you undo first on the right side? Do you undo this number over here, the 152.51, or the minus 2.61?
The negative 2.6.
So when you're solving, you undo addition and subtraction before multiplication and division.
Mhm.
So this number is not subtracting, it's multiplying the x.
Okay. So it'd be
So this 152.51 is being added to it.
Mhm.
So how do you undo it?
We would subtract 152.51.
All right, so go ahead and do that
Okay.
and give me your result on the left side. Tell me what that becomes, please.
All right. You can't do that. Minus 52. Zero Okay. H. Okay, that would be. I feel like I have this incorrect.
Maybe do the calculation a second time.
So yeah, let me do that one more time. Okay. So I have the first one that I calculated would be negative 261.01. I
Okay,
don't
so
feel like
why do you feel like that was why do you feel like that's wrong?
I feel like it's too big and it would actually be a smaller number. That's what I feel like it would be since we're subtracting.
But they're both negative. I mean, if they're both positive and you're adding them, that would just be a positive 261.01.
That's true.
You've got a number around 110, a number around 150. The answer's around 260. That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. All right. Now on the right here, this number is multiplying x. How do you undo multiplication?
Division.
Division. Yeah, you divide. So you divide both sides by minus 2.61. So go ahead and divide and tell me what you come up with, please.
Okay. Okay. Let's okay. So I have negative 100
Nope.
point. Nope.
Nope. Now, what calculator, what kind of calculator are you using today?
I would assume my basic phone calculator.
Okay.
Looks like.
So that's not good. That's no good. Let's have you, I'm gonna drop this in the chat. Desmos Scientific, you got to use the right tool for the job. Okay.
Okay.
Um, the nice thing about the Desmos Scientific is you can enter it exactly the way it's written. You don't have to sort of guess about how to enter it, or you can't see all the numbers, or you hit divide and then the other number's gone.
Mhm.
So give that one more try, please.
Didn't get that correct. Let me get rid of. Hmm. So I do get 100 you know, 0038
Okay.
through 14.
Okay. So what is your answer?
I would say it would be 100.00 repeating
Okay. So
or
it's
0.
100. It's basically 100. Um, do you feel like you already told me that?
I think, yeah, I think so.
Here's what you actually said. Are those
Mhm.
the same?
No.
No, they're not. And they're very different. I mean, I always wonder, from the student's perspective, like why you would think these are the same. And you're saying they're not, which is great. This one is correct. This is wrong.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on that before we move on?
Um, no, I wouldn't say so.
Okay. Let's go to the next grouping of questions. Uh, so 21 looks great. Let me get this snip in here. All right. Yeah, so why did you divide by 20 in this right here?
Mm, what I remember, that trying to think, like, so we had 0, 6, 8, and then 20. I would assume we divided one of the numbers and we had 20.
You have 20 numbers. Yes, that's exactly right. This is correct. This is correct. The range is also correct. Very good. Now, the 5-number summary, this is a little bit more involved. Okay, so I'm gonna actually snip in the numbers. All right, to do the 5-number summary. So the first of the 5-number summaries is the median. The median is the middle number. But you can see that there are 20 numbers. There is no middle number. There's the 28 and the 32, which you end up finding the average of. So when there are two middle numbers, you find the average of them.
Mhm.
All right. So could you find this average for me, please?
Let me grab a yes. Let's see. Uh oh, okay. I'm trying to remember what average would have to do with formula.
Yep. It's
Um,
right here in front of you.
but
Just
divide.
you add up the
um,
numbers and divide by 2.
Okay,
The average of two numbers is adding them up and dividing by 2.
okay.
Remember, I never ask you something that you don't already know or isn't already on the screen. That
Okay.
wouldn't be very fair.
30.
It's 30. So the median is 30. There's the 5-number summary. This is the third number that they want. The second and the fourth number that they want is what's called quartile 1 and quartile 3. So for quartile 1, your attention should be to the top 10 numbers, the top 10 numbers. Okay. Do you
Hmm.
see that there are two middle numbers this time? Two middle numbers because there's 4 below and 4 above. Do you see that?
Mhm.
All
Okay.
right. So to find quartile 1, in this case, you have to take 21 plus 23 and divide it by 2. What does that become?
22.
22. All right, so quartile 3 is the same thing, but for the bottom row of numbers. Could you tell me quartile 3?
38 plus 43.
Exactly.
Which would give us 40.5.
Okay. You might be thinking, oh man, these are getting really complicated. The last two are not. It's the min and the max. The min is 10 and the max is 49.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. Um, the next problem I'm seeing is like 28. Does that look right to you?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so let me kind of set up this scenario. For some reason, drawing a picture, it gets you gotta. They tell you that for years in math. Is draw a picture, draw a picture. And you're like, what do you mean? So it would actually really help if you kind of just made a quick drawing of it. Now you don't have to draw the individual ones. You can just say 4 black, like that. 10
Mm.
blue. Okay. 3 red, 6 green. Wait.
Mhm.
Um, oh, 6 are blue and red. That's okay. That's weird. Blue and red. Okay. 1 white. All right. So sometimes it's good to have like a picture here. Okay. And then we want to determine the probability. So the first one for 28 here, you're keeping in mind this picture, is the white pen. So what you need to know is the number of white pens out of the total number of pens. So
Mm.
how many white pens are there?
There's one white pen,
And how many total pens are there?
30.
Yes, there's your answer.
Oh, okay. Get
Okay.
pictured in. And then 6 blue, red.
All right. So now let's look at 29, which they've made this problem unnecessarily difficult with the pens that are both blue and red. How does a pen both blue and red? I don't get that. But and having blue or red is taken out of the drawer. So this one is a little bit of a guess on my part because what I don't know is whether to include the ones that are blue and red. But there are 10 blue plus 3 red.
Mm.
Okay. And then I guess we add in the ones that are blue and red
And red.
because they they sort of technically count.
Yeah. Don't make it too complicated for no good reason. Root of red. Okay.
Is that okay?
I would say so. 19, 30. Also, there could be 13.
How do you get 13?
We would not use the 6
Yeah,
blue.
so you're right. So you're right. So another possible answer is 13 out of 30. I don't know because I didn't write the problem and it's very unclear.
Yeah.
It's
Frustrating.
I don't know. I mean,
Oops. Okay. All right. More black, 10 blue, green pink.
let me know when you're ready to move on to 30.
Mhm. Okay. I am ready.
So in 30, it's kind of worth drawing a scenario. So they take a green pen out, but then they put it back in. A green pen is removed from the drawer and replaced. So they take it out and put it back in. So the makeup of the drawer with the 30 pens is unchanged. So like this
Yeah.
first action it doesn't matter. Okay. So the probability that a black pen is removed is the number of black pens divided by the total number of pens.
Hmm.
So how many black pens are there? How many total pens?
4 and 30. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay, good. Now it does say to reduce the fractions, and this is the first one where that has mattered.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you reduce that fraction for me? And if you're unsure,
Okay.
that Desmos calculator will do some of it for you.
Okay. Maybe, is this correct? 0.132?
No.
No.
There's a button for a fraction there to the right. You'll see.
Hmm. Okay. I have a 4/30, put that. Now I need to put reduce there. That's what I need.
Yes, and the calculator will do that for you. There's a fraction button to the right of the decimal. You see that?
Fraction button. I see this. No.
Let me step it in here. This symbol right here
Ah,
is meant to represent fraction. It's
okay.
kind of like the gear always means settings, or we kind of associate that
Yeah.
with settings.
Okay. Okay, so 2/15.
Yes. Now, if you want to know how we get that, you divide both by 2. You divide the top and the bottom by 2, and you get
Okay,
2/15.
let me write that down. Right, both sides by 2. Okay, that makes sense. And this is 4/30. Okay.
Okay. So let's go to the last one there. Again, it's kind of there's really so much that goes into this that I'm not giving you or you're not receiving. Like there's this thing of independence and dependence, and we're just missing that all together here, but I'll try to explain the scenario. So this time you have 30 pens, okay, but then you take one out. In fact, you take a black pen out. So how many pens are left over in the drawer?
29.
29. Okay. How many white pens are in the drawer of the 29?
Mm-hmm. And white pen is
How,
taken to
how many
28.
white pens?
Oh, how many
There's
white pens?
28. Yeah. How many
One.
white pens? There's one. Okay. So the probability is 1/29, not 1/30,
Mhm.
because you took one out. You have a slightly better chance of grabbing a um,
White pen.
white pen.
No, okay. We would reduce or assume. Is that what we have to do? I think that's it.
That's it for that one.
Okay.
All right. Um, so got some other stuff here. Now, doesn't look like you've tried any of these. Is that fair to say? This number
Yeah.
one here with the, okay. So here's what I'll do. I'll do a different problem, or you
Mhm.
can try this one. Like, because I think we got into a bad pattern of before. So would you like to try this one, or do you want me to do one like it?
We can do one like it.
Okay. All right. So let's say it's 4x² y/5z², and x equals 1, y equals -1, and z equals 2. Okay. So what this means is you're going to put these values in. So if x is really 1, y is -1, and z is 2. Now notice I'm substituting in parentheses. If you do that and you use a calculator, you will never get the answer wrong. Now, if you don't do that, or if you aren't sure how to evaluate it by hand, you will definitely make mistakes. So I'm strongly suggesting that you use parentheses. Okay. Could you go to Desmos and enter this exactly the way it's written and tell me what you come up with,
Uh-huh. Okay.
either as a decimal or a fraction?
Okay. Uh, Let me redo this. With that, no, 5. Oops, 2, 2. Okay, and then I have -0.2.
Okay, that is correct. All right, so now if I wanted a fraction, it would be -1/5. Okay. So your
Hmm.
problem up here is really, really similar. Really, really similar. Okay. So I'd like you to try that on your own here, and I will confirm your answer.
Okay. Mhm. 35. Okay, parentheses. I don't know. Times time right here times 1 with 1 cube. There. Here. Oh, x equals 2. And then okay. I have 0.75 and then 3/4.
Good. There you go. Now, what are you going to do to show your work for this one?
I guess I would put it in this, I put it in the calculator.
You want to do the same thing we did in this example problem. You want to show the numbers substituting in for the variables.
Mm-hmm.
So I would recommend that you do that.
Okay. This way. Oh, okay, so we need to, if the result is undefined, right, undefined, but this is correct.
This is not undefined. This is
Yeah. Okay.
this is a number.
Mhm. Wait, right, how is it?
So I'm suggesting that you write this expression, but with the numbers substituted in.
Mhm.
Let me know when you've done that.
Okay. So I put what I put in the calculator to, and then I put sub 4 parentheses, these x equals 2 and so on to show what I did. Okay, this doesn't seem too complicated now that I think.
Let me know
Okay,
when you're ready to move on to the next one.
I am ready.
Okay, very good. All right, this is exactly the same. So you have to put the numbers in
Mhm.
and then use the calculator to simplify.
Okay, so first answer would be okay. So I have 1.733 repeating
Okay. Can you turn
for
that into a fraction?
26/15.
Okay.
Negative 2016/15.
All right. Let me just double check you here. I was looking ahead at the next problem. Think of an example for you. So let me get this all set up here just to confirm. X squared plus 6. Looks good to me. Very good.
All right.
All right. Any questions on that before we proceed to something else? A little more difficult.
Um, I put this here. So we would put the parentheses to make it simpler to,
Just for clarity.
okay.
It's not necessary, but like, my Bible has red print wherever Jesus is speaking.
Mhm.
And like easier for me to realize, oh yeah, he's talking. It's not just something. So kind of like in a way, it's like making something more clear,
Okay.
stand out. Um, all right, so I want you to try the same thing for this problem.
Same thing. X would be negative. This would be an undefined.
It would be undefined. Very good. Okay. All right. So whenever you're ready, we can move on to number 4. All right. And my question again, just like with number 1, is do you want to try this one, or do you want me to give you one like it?
I would say like it, so I can like
Okay.
have a
All right.
understanding.
So this is like 4. So I'm going to write a fraction, and I'm going to write something on the top. What am I writing on the top?
Does not matter.
Does not matter. So don't even look at the top. Okay, here's what you do. You set the bottom equal to 0. You set x plus 5 equal to 0, and then you solve for x. How do you solve for x here in this equation?
We would solve for x. We would subtract 5 both sides.
So what we're really saying is x cannot equal -5. That's how you want to answer it. Even though it wasn't equal, what you're really saying is that x cannot equal -5. So there's there in math, you cannot divide by 0. No division by 0. Okay, so it does not matter what's on the top. Don't even look at the top. Just look at the bottom. Set the bottom equal to 0, solve for x. This is your answer. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so I want you to try number 4, please.
So we would have to do like we just did, or would I have
Yes.
to use the calculator? No.
But I gave you an example just like it. Do you want us to look at it one more time?
Mhm.
All right, take a look at it. Let me know if you got questions.
Hmm. So the top does not matter. Okay. Just be x plus 2. And then subtract 0, which would give x equals -2. So let's say we didn't equal. Okay, so I did here. I didn't do the top. We ignore the top. X plus 2 equals 0. Subtract both sides by 2. And then x equals -2.
Except you have to write it this way. X cannot equal with a line through it. X cannot equal
Okay.
-2.
All right.
All right, so we'll close out with me showing you how to do number 5.
Mhm.
So here we go. For number 5 here, again, you don't care about the top. You just ignore the top, but you set the bottom equal to 0. Now the bottom is really difference of squares. It's x minus 5, x plus 5 equals 0. And then you write x minus 5 equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0. And you solve each of those for x.
Hmm.
Like that.
Mhm. 5. Okay.
So go ahead and get this down, and we will be closing out after this.
I have it written down.
Fantastic. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us for today. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right here.